Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Random. Egberto Wills, your host. Thank you so kindly being part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. Muchísimas gracias por estar aquí. Thank you so kindly for being here. I don't see that I queued my stuff, so I'll go check my queue. But anyhow, seeing you, many of you for the second time, Buttigieg MCP was an integral part of the last show, and so was Alistair Waters. Buttigieg, thank you for supporting KPFT. Note that you are a voter, a voter at Pacifica Network. And by the way, we control 5 major stations in the United States: New York, DC, California, LA, Berkeley, and Houston, as well as over 100 and change in affiliate stations around. So you are a part of a big volunteer network of high-powered radio stations. Well, actually, Houston is mostly volunteers. Some of the other stations actually have employees. We don't know how they do it. We can't, because we can't get enough to do it. But hey, we're doing it, baby. We're doing it. Anyhow, welcome to Friday. This is the last Friday of February, right? Yeah, I think it's the last Friday of February. All right, let's go ahead and cue this baby, see if any of them will cue. No, it says some sort of an error there. What kind of an error is that? I don't know. So evidently, something is not going to get queued. So anyhow, we are going to have a great show for you today as soon as I am able to figure out how to queue something on the new system that I am checking out now. So let's go ahead. That's the wrong one. A PTFE to MailChimp. I think that's the wrong one, right? I think that's the wrong zap. But folks, bear with my thought process here as I try to figure out what I've got to do now to get this baby up and going. And I think I'm ready to go. Let's see if she will run. Bear with me. I want to get her running. I want to see if she will run. I've got to get her running, because this automation is how we're going to make things much better in the near future. So I'm coming to salute you guys in a little bit, but I got to do a test run. Here's a test run. Let's see if that'll do it. All right, let's see if that's going to find anything. And if that finds anything, it'll say, I found new items. And then it'll take off. Then it'll go do it. But if it doesn't find new items, it won't do it. And so far, it's not finding new items. Anyhow, that's okay. We'll do it. We'll kind of do it manually if we have to. We'll do it manually if we have to, but we see it. Anyway, folks, welcome aboard. Michael Rudnin, welcome aboard. Buttigieg MCP, welcome aboard. Eric Hazley Grant. Who else is in the house? Peggy Lopez, ¿cómo estás, mi amiga mía? Paul Fleming is also in the house. Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain, as well as E2247, who was the first one to be here today. Welcome aboard, E2247. Great to see you here. Happy to see you here, sir. Maywood is also in the house. And did I miss anybody? If I miss anybody, throw your name back up in the bottom of the pile. Meaning just create a new message so that I can see where it is. They said it found no new items. I'm going to have to figure out what's going on there. But you know how that goes. It works sometimes, doesn't work till you get it all fine-tuned. And when you get it all fine-tuned, then you can figure out if it works. If it doesn't work, then you do it again and move on. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's go ahead and start reading what you had to say. We have, starting up, E2247 says, hello, relatives. Today's visit will be the greatest visit ever. Of course it's going to be. ABQ says, been playing all day been playing among us all day. Feel like I'm amped up on adrenaline right about now. Okay, among us all day. I love that. All right, Maywood says, good afternoon, everyone. How is everybody doing? And Maywood says, is the music playing? I don't see or hear anything. Please reboot. It should be playing. Let's see. Buttigieg says, hello, peeps. Peggy Lopez, hi, all. E2247 said, from former Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich was once best known as the named party in the 2020 SCOTUS voting rights decision. But there will be another entry in Wikipedia. He was for election denialism. You know, that guy knew that it wasn't election fraud and he held back the information. Feeling better than Michael. Hope you and your mother are getting better. So, Michael, are you feeling better? Is the question. Are you feeling better? Maywood said it starts, then it stops. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, but we both have some lingering symptoms, occasionally mild fever and sweats, cough, sore throat, ran test COVID negative. This is likely a secondary infection, and I've already taken a course of antibiotics. You will be fine. If it's a infection with viruses, antibiotics, most of the antibiotics don't do diddly squat. Have to get an antiviral. Okay, let's see what else we got. Eric Hayes says, perfect progressive example. CHOP zone in 2020 caused deaths and damage because the progressive government told police to stay away. Now they have to pay over $3 million in damages. Great government results via bad policy. You're always looking for that, huh? But you don't really see the bad policy. You don't see the 3,000 deaths that Texas Republican legislature causes every year in Houston, in Texas. So 2,300 deaths in Houston in Texas every year caused by Republican policy, right? You don't see all those dead folk on certain freeways because of Republican policy. You don't see that, right? You don't see the kids that live as latchkey because we don't have the right kind of family leave and family support, right? Republican policy, right? You don't see it. Better be careful, brother. Watch what you think, because what you think in general, remember what I told Lebdo yesterday, when you point, 4 fingers are pointing back at you. Bam, 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 and bam. Okay. Michael Rudness says, Eric Hayes, bitching about $3 million. LOL, our government burns through billions like it's nothing. Bridge MCP says, I don't use Wi-Fi. And let's continue. Eric Hayes says, a post is irresponsible as it was an Axel issued, not the citizens. I suggest you read the post. And understand the rationale. But we'll get to it as soon as I play the video. All right, what else have we got here? Eric Hayes says, oh, hey, we have some agreement. What happened in East Palestine, Ohio, is a disgrace on our government, all right? The last 3 administrations failed to put through proper regulations to prevent trains derailment happening nearly 5 times. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. All right, Tom C. says, Egberto versus the computer. Who will win? Ha ha ha. I got you. Bridge MCP says, Paul is here. Yes, Paul Fleming is here. Welcome, Paul. I think I welcomed you already. Rondon says, Egberto, you never played Among Us. It's a crewmates versus imposters, trying to figure out who is the killer. Got imp my last game, ran a spree kill FTW. Nobody found the bodies. Good times. Nope, I've never played Among Us. Melanie Keelan says, Bridge MCP 2247, all's well. And Tom C says, okay here, ice is melting still. Need to chainsaw some down trees. I feel for you, sir. I know that's hard work. Eric A says, see lots of kids in suicides and depression via the lockdown. I think it's a lot more than the lockdown, you know? I think it's a lot more than that. Lee Grant says, did y'all see that black radical activist Angela Davis is actually a descendant of slave owners, a Mayflower colonizer? Yeah, she was her mother or great grandmother was likely raped by one of the colonizers, and that would make her a descendant of the colonizer genetically, but a person who the colonizers had no interest in being a part of. So Lee Grant, I think you got to be careful when you try to use lineage to denote something. Because that was a big fail, my brother. I love you, but that was a big fail. Because what you're doing is making the colonizer look worse. By highlighting that Angela Davis, the great crusader, and I love Angela Davis. By going and making Angela Davis, demeaning her by saying, oh, look at, she's a radical, but her great grandfather was a colonizer. and by associate. We don't assign guilt by association. And in that case, it's not even association. Her folks were likely raped and she came out, but she had to live as what again? Come on. That makes the colonizer look even worse, sir. Michael Renner says, Eric Hayes, vitamin C, useless for this. Vitamin C prevents scurvy, but don't worry, I've got a bag of mandarin oranges. That's whole vitamin C versus disease things come from the 100-year-old myth. All right. Lee Grant says, how do you parse reparations for this? She gets full reparations. Look, let me put it this way, Lee Grant. Here it goes. The act of slavery or taking advantage of people is a singular act against an entity. They didn't look at the white part of Angela Davis's ancestry, the part that's by the colonizer, and says, we're going to give that piece liberty. We're going to give that little piece of her this. Okay? That's not how it works. Her entire being, her entire body was that of a descendant of a slave. Reparation, she gets it all. Because her body and lineage is what created the capitalist society and the wealth in this capitalist society, Sir Grant. Look, I don't know, I don't go out and say it, but I have a certain percentage of colonizer blood too. You don't see me, I've got colonizer blood, so therefore No. Yo soy por socialmente. Coming from the point of view of the legal and the stuff in this country, soy negro. Remember that. Okay? She grew up exactly how she did. All right, let's see what else. Eric Hayes says, powder is abundant in the mountains and ski will be greatest and water supply for California, Utah, and Colorado will fill back up. Not the Colorado River. The Colorado River is in horrendous shape and will likely remain so for the foreseeable future. Okay, I support reparations. That said, still figure lineage would be important for determining who qualifies for reparations. I don't qualify for reparations. I'm from another country. And, yeah, that's it, right? But lineage is not enough. Does Marcus Garvey qualify for reparation? You know? Let's continue. Peggy Lopez says, Angela Davis developed a graduate course, The History of Consciousness at California State University, Santa Cruz. If she was still teaching at the school, I would head down and sign up for it quickly. I would too. Let's see. Michael Run says, I can see first 500 characters of what they write here. And Bruce says he's back for more. Bruce was in the program earlier today as well. Daniel Ledo says, I would love to hear your evidence that Angela Davis's ancestors was unwilling in having sex with the master. Don't bother, you have none. We know that the masters, based on literature we read and believe, based on the literature you read and believe otherwise, that these men took advantage of these women left and right. Okay? They raped them. They abused them. Many times they did it as a matter of showing their husbands or otherwise in slavery that don't forget whatever you think, I am in command. Slavery was a brutally nasty, evil thing done by evil folk. And notice I individualized that. Those who owned slaves were evil. They whipped them, desecrated them. So that should answer all your questions. That should answer all your questions. Don't you think? ¿No crees que eso deberá de ser respuesta por todas tus preguntas? Estoy seguro que eso es respuesta por todas tus preguntas. Mr. Ledo, answer to all of your questions. Daniel Ledo also says, we also know female slaves willingly gave up the goods for a multitude of reasons. You make assumptions and then base policies on your fevered dreams. It's funny. It's funny how you can't be in command of slaves and then The guy tried to abuse them, and somehow it was given freely. Man, Ledon, if you believe some of the things you say, I feel so sorry for your wife. If you believe some of those things, and I really, really wonder if you speak like this around her. I must wonder that. Madre mía, por favor. The statement was against slaves and women. He is such a white male privilege POS. You know what? Let me tell you, he wants to get a ring out of you. That's what he wants. Michael Rudnan says, since when can a slave consent to sex? You see, that's an intelligent person speaking. There's a disparity in power. What are you suggesting? It's worse than the equivalent of a cop telling a suspect in custody they can get off with a F. You're right. You're right. Peggy Lopez says, the first time I was raped, I was 4. Oh, so sorry, Peggy. I was raped. The last time I was raped, I was 12. Did I have any part in living a childhood filled with evil, or was it only my father's responsibility? Slaves raped equal. Thank you, Peggy. We do have thinking people here. Egberto Willis, I blocked him, but still see his comments on YouTube. Don't we have this down south? Don't know what you're talking about. But anyhow, the first video I want to show you is why I think Biden should have gotten rid of every single Trump appointee. Check this out, then we'll take it on the other side. I want you to see the difference in how a Trump appointee that Biden decided to keep on address the crash in East Palestine, the derailment in East Palestine, and how Pete Buttigieg does. This is one of the reasons why in key positions, it is imperative that you have somebody in there who's going to have your back, and you not hold back and say, I want to play the bipartisan game. I believe in bipartisanship that works, but not bipartisanship for the sake of bipartisanship. I want you to see this, and then we'll take it on the other side. This is how Hannenby addresses it, a Trump appointee.
Enough with the politics. I don't understand why this has gotten so political. This is a community that is suffering. This is not about politics. This is about addressing their needs, their concerns. That's what this should be about. So I don't care about the politics. Politics is not part of our investigative process. Our credibility rests on us carrying out an objective, thorough investigation, and that's what we'll do here.
This is how Biden's appointee, Pete Buttigieg, addresses the situation and comes out and knows how to use the politics that Donald Trump and his minions have tried to place in.
One thing he could do is express support for reversing the deregulation that happened on his watch. I heard him say he had nothing to do with it, even though it was in his administration. So if he had nothing to do with it and they did it in his administration against his will, maybe he could come out and say that he supports us moving in a different direction. We're not afraid to own our policies when it comes to raising the bar on regulation.
So you see, immediately you have to turn the blame where it belongs and not allow false information to cauterize. Oh, it's because of you guys didn't doing your job. You didn't come here early enough. Well, damn it, if Donald Trump had gone ahead and not removed those regulations that causes a train to break earlier, faster brakes, that did a whole lot more in electronics, we wouldn't have had the catastrophe. This catastrophe is man-made and specifically Trump and Republican policy made. I want you to see that. Absolutely no doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. Okay, let's go ahead now. Let me back up a second. I want to check out something here before I go any further, because this is another important thing I need to try out. All right. So yeah, I don't see how one can not look at the situation the way it really is and come out with the same results, right? But anyhow, let's go ahead and take it another step. But, oops, you got some more messages in here. Sorry, Peggy Lopez. Oh, my Lord, I get it. Yeah. Eric Hayes, you want me to trust some random website for health information? LOL. Go find a highly factual site. First Light Media. But you know what is so interesting with some people, Rudnin and the rest? I could make a lot. I do a lot of websites. I have 25 servers. Okay. I could, technically speaking, put up so much bad information, attach it to money-making ventures, and become a millionaire with these 25 servers. Instead, we do what's right. And we put it on with things like liberal politics done right and failed Democrats and all these different kind of websites. They don't pull in anything. It just shows you the difference in the way. Well, I'll go there another time. All right, here we go. James Robichaud says, dude, stop pretending to not understand power. A powerless person in a relationship of violent inequality cannot consent to sex or anything else. I mean, Robichaud, you hit the nail on the head, like a few others earlier. Eric Hayes says, Pete is an embarrassment and won't answer questions. I think he just did. You just didn't like the answers. Pete answered the questions. What could you have done to stop this? Well, it's your boys, Donald Trump's policies that caused this. Now, if he really wants to be helpful, he would call up all his sycophants and say, hey, support a policy that will re-regulate the rails so that we can not have this stuff happen again. It's simple, but they won't. Michael Renner says, Egberto, Obama failed to enforce regulations for new brakes on all trains. Trump then said the train industry didn't need the new brakes at all, and Biden failed to put the regulations again. We have an average of nearly 5 derailments per day in our country. I agree. All right. Let's see. Rudnin says, Bree says, wait, what? You have 25 servers? Yeah, I do a lot of free work for different companies, nonprofits, as a give back to society. I've been doing this for decades, for years, right? I bought 25 virtual servers at GoDaddy. And what I do is then I give these servers, like I've given one to Alianza Latina Internacional. That's a Latino website. I gave one to Houston Peace and Justice Center, which I run as well. I run about two of them that are for just friends. And I have about 10 of them that are out there doing some very specific things to, like I have faileddemocrats.com, liberalpolitics.com, singlepayerhealthcarenow.com, and among a few others. And then, of course, I have the site for this called the Willie's Media LLC.com, which is all-encompassing where our store, etc. is. So yeah, and by the way, I have 3 of them that people, 3 or 4 that supporters of politics done right wanted me to build a website. They give me if you take a look at the what is it called? Patreon. I have an option for Patreon where you can give, I think it's $100 a month, and I give you a server, and I give you a couple of hours of, moving your stuff over to that server for your website. So that way it's, again, you get a server for supporting politics done right on the $100 level. So there are a lot of ways that I try to do these things. Bridge MCP, a lot of ways that I try to do these things. All right, let's see what else we have. Para ver. ¿Dónde están? You guys are going too fast for me. All right, here we go. Daniel Ledo says, I have been blocked by Bridge. No surprise. She's weak and brainwashed. God forbid her insane leftist ideas are exposed for the foolishness that it is. So much better to insulate from any ideas that challenge her Marxist ideology. Okay. Bridge MCP is one of the most wonderful women I know. Bridge MCP is nothing that you described there. In fact, if you were to hold up a mirror, you are likely to see yourself, my brother. I am hoping that being here, we can change some of the threads that emanate from the wrong parts of your brain into something that is mathematically sound, morally sound, and scientifically sound. I don't think it's wishful thinking, though. You know, if I saw you, I'll give you a big hug and say, brother, what's wrong? What happened in your childhood? You know? Michael Rudden says, Eric Hayes, if you got a clinical trial on a site that's actually highly factual for health information, such as Mayo Clinic, then link that. If you post some random stuff, I ain't interested. And you shouldn't be. That's how those people got killed, by taking that crazy drug that you give to horses, you know? Okay, let's see what else we got. Lee Grant said, so Egberto could sell snake oil for big bucks, but he'd rather do the same thing here for free. I'm not doing this for free. I'm doing this out of responsibility to society. And many of you, including you, Brother Grant, you support what we're doing. In fact, to support me, you should throw a super chat in there right now, Lee Grant. Let's see some power into your super chats. Because, you know, I love you, brother. And you give me hell, but I still love you, brother. Let me tell you what this is all about, though, Lee Grant. I think I told you guys a story. There's something that really touched on me, and that is when I sold that huge license to Boeing, how easy it was. That wasn't a pat on the back for me. That was I can't believe it. This is how our system works. All right? You get it? Do you really understand what I'm saying? Let's continue. Can someone toss this over to Eric Hayes for me? What is it? I think you don't want it tossed to Eric Hayes. You want me to put that on the screen, Rudden. Why didn't you just say, Egberto, could you put that on the screen? I would put it on the screen. You know, you guys are my peeps. You all are my peeps. There's what he wants you to see, Eric Hayes. And Lee, you talk to Eric Hayes directly, Brother Grant. Well, you don't have to if you don't. I can tolerate just about anything, but you don't have to. That's why I'm here anyway, okay? Breach MCP says, don't want to copy-paste them anymore. They do not listen to anything. Breach, my dear beautiful Breach, remember what I told you. It's okay. All right, replying to Ledo, the NTSB chair has a point, though. I had not even considered that she was a Trump appointee when I heard that comment from her yesterday. Politics is not her job, and she reasonably wants to be prepared for such question. I don't want to read all of that, Robert Joe, but I get your point. In a pure world, I would agree with you 100%, sir. But when you have Trump telling the people in East Palestine that something is wrong with how we handled it in a way that is untrue, I think what Pete did was the right thing to do to get back. I think that was very important. And James Robert, you wrote that thing you copy-pasted twice. So you get my point. The recent attempt to railroad strikes and Democrats shutting it down, which already meant increase. I agree with that. I mean, look, Democrats have a lot of faults. Don't get me wrong. And I agree with them. I agree with pointing the faults out. What I don't like is the false equivalencies. And I don't think you're trying to create a false equivalence. You're just stating facts. All right. But MCP says, I wish I had 2 minutes in a room with that pompous New York woman versus Texas white male. All right. Let's get ready to rumble. Bridge, you know what though, Bridge? I don't want to see you and Ledo in a room because you would beat the crap out of Ledo. And I don't like violence. And I wouldn't like to see what Ledo looks like after you're done with him. You know? Because, Ledo, you won't want to mess with Bridge, okay? Just put it that way. Lee Grant, thank you, my brother. You see why I love Lee Grant? I teased him a bit, about, hey, throw a super chat in there. And the brother sent the super chat. But I got to read what his super chat says. He sent a $20 super chat and he says, here is some reparations for you. Lee Grant, thank you for my Panamanian reparations. Okay, because since the American government will never give it to me, given that I was born in Panama, that a descendant of one of the colonizers in Panama gave it to me. I love you guys. You want me to tell you something? I have fun here. In as much as we're learning together, we're teaching each other, etc. I have fun here because you guys, somebody like Lee Grant gets it. He gets it. He gets it. Even though he likes to give me hell, but he gets it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Daniel Edo has spouted so much backward nonsense on here that anyone with a working brain would block him to maintain their sanity. I don't block him, I maintain my son. Let me tell you again, I'm going to repeat this again for those who are coming here that are not always here, okay? I have great progressives in here, a couple of anarchists in here, a couple of Marxists in here, and I can name which one would apply from a labeling standpoint to each one of them. And then we have somebody like Daniel Edo, that is a flamethrower. And if you look at Daniel, if you watch him, you'll think he's the worst person, the most immorally deficient racist you would think. But that's not who he is. Okay? That's what he wants to come across. He wants to be that person. But like I said, I know him personally, and that's not who he is. But, he'll probably come in and say, no, that's who I am. But that's not who he is. And I don't block, even if that was who he was. I don't block them. But it's okay for you to block him because you don't have to tolerate that. I do. I am trying to be a catalyst of change. I have to take it. Okay? I do. All right. Peggy Lopez says, the payment I receive from service I do freely and with love is beyond any financial gain in my happiness and my ability to stay alive in this crazy country. You sound like that sounds like something Kathy Courtney told me today when she was on air with me as we were talking about healthcare for all. You guys are just good people. And it's true. That's how I feel about when I do things for, let's say, Alianza Latina Internacional, or when I do things for these different organizations that I host for, etc. And not only that, you feel like, other people are doing for you. Look, hey, Lee Grant just dropped something on us, right? We pay it forward. We pay it forward. Thank you, Brother Grant. Thank you very much. I'm going to still knock you out, though. Next time I see you, we're going to rumble, buddy. Michael Running says, Bridge is correct. The conservatives in here listen to nothing. And all I can ask of people like Bridge MCP and Michael Rudnin is to trust me. Okay? Trust when I talk about seeds falling on ground that just when the right amount of moisture and fertilizer hits, because the seed is there, it gets a chance to grow. I'm not saying that out of just saying that. I've lived that. There's a friend of mine, I can't say who the friend is. This person was a genuine racist. He thought he was a cut above me. He tolerated me until he was able to really let me have it before, or give it to me as, let me see who his color really was. And when a seed that was planted in him, that I planted in him years before, when he realized it was right there at the right time when something happened. And it made him a changed person. And you know what? That's how I feel when I talk to folks. That's why I try to give everybody love. Because at least, even if they hate my guts, when that seed is planted at some time, when it hatches, well, it's not an egg, when it breaks, when it occurs at some time, that change happened. I know a lot of you sit down and say, God, you're so stupid. That's wishful thinking. Oh, my God. Folks didn't get the way they are in one day. They had an entire culture to teach them. They had their mama, their daddy, their great-grandmama, their great-granddaddy to teach them. You listen to what Kathy Courtney said in one of her couple of sentences when she was talking about healthcare today. She pretty much said the same thing. I don't even know if she realized she was saying the same thing. All right. And Judge Luttig says, no prosecutor, least of all Mr. Smith, will abide this political gambit for long, E2247 says. And Mr. Pence shouldn't let the dangerous gambit play out for long. If he does, it will be more than he wished for. From the New York Times. All right, what else have we got here? We've got James Robichaud says, I did not say that Buttigieg was out of line by bringing up politics. If anything, my comment, read the whole thing, was very indirect defense of his post-derailment behavior given the unprecedented expectations placed on him. Sorry for not reading the whole thing, but you gave me this amount of stuff, sir. I'll read it offline. Peggy Lopez says, I just unsubscribed from my favorite lefty program because he went on a cruel rant that I could not listen to, and I do not listen to Fox because of the meanness. I find this program kind. And if I ever, I want to do this. If I ever get to a point where I get obnoxious or I get too much into saying I know Bridge knows she can pick up the phone and say, Egberto, you were off keel there. Bruce can say the same. Norman can say the same. Many of you have my personal number that you can give me a call and say, hey, chill, do the right thing, go apologize, And you guys know that's who I am. All right, Lee Grant. Oh my God, I'm scared to read this one from Lee Grant. He says, I like the seed analogy. We sure get a lot of fertilizer from the left. Oh, God. Too much fertilizer burns up the seeds, right? Oh, God. Lee. What am I going to do with you, Lee? All right, Bruce Pollard says, for your callers, it sounds like we want a service to help people sort out their best options with healthcare than when they turn 65. And when I check my email, Bruce, thank you so kindly for volunteering to help somebody with their when they turn 65. I will make sure you get it, sir. That's what I tell people about crowdsourcing and community. Not everybody have all the right answers. Today, when somebody called in with a problem, Bruce said, I have the answer. Have him call me, put me in touch with this guy, and I will. Bridge MCP says, Egberto Willis, I trust what you're doing. I don't mind the conservatives, but Daniel calls me names like, wow, I didn't know he called you the W word. Daniel, that ain't right, Daniel. Come on, brother. That just ain't right. Breach, thank you so much. Fix Restream so I don't have to see the figure it out. You are a part of the team. Help me figure it out, Breach. That's not a technical issue with me. It's a technical issue with Facebook and Restream. Help me, girl. Help me. Ayúdame, por favor. Ayúdame. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right. Okay, I got another video. This one is a bit longer, so let me go ahead and start playing it now, and we'll take it. Eric, you better listen to this one. This is when I said we need to take the blame for East Palestine. Here we go.
Senator Sherrod Brown gets it. Senator Sherrod Brown did not hold back as he let Norfolk Southern have it. He pointed out that instead of investing in the safety of their operations, they used their profits for stock buybacks and dividends. I want you guys to get what that means, folks. Under the Trump administration, they relaxed rules on trains. They remove regulations for better braking, for braking in the 21st century braking and all of that. Things that could likely, even if there is a derailment, that these containers and trucks would be protected, right? Yeah. All of those, poof, went away. We want to deregulate. We want to take away regulations. We don't need regulations. The government regulates too much. And you know why the government regulates? You know why we, the people, regulate? Because they, the corporations, will do as little as possible to increase the profits of their shareholders and the dividends of their shareholders. And of course, with that comes maximal bonuses for the executives. It's all there. And that's what it's for. And that's why we need regulations. We must have regulations to protect whom? You. But because you are listening to news on ABC, CBS, NBC, MSN, all these other stations where the plutocracy, the corporatocracy can come on and give their line point of view with those reporters not giving a good pushback, many Americans now would sing the same song. Many rank and file Americans, regular common Americans will go out there and say, too much regulations. We have too much regulations. We can't have that. And they believe what the corporations are saying. If you'll deregulate, it'll be fine. So we vote for people who would deregulate industry. We vote for people who would put our own lives at risk. And when you go to Ohio, Palestine, Ohio, is a direct result of a corporation trying to get more profits for its shareholders, its bonuses for its executives, and more money in dividends for all those who own the stock. That's what you are seeing in Palestine. Palestine, Ohio, that is. But it gets deeper. Because we, the American people, are all responsible for Palestine, Ohio. Egberto, what are you talking about? How can I be responsible for Palestine, Ohio? Let me first read from Sherrod Brown. So, Sherrod Brown, this is what the reporter said. The EPA administrator and the governor says that the municipal water and the air are both safe, said Pamela Brown. But residents, they are worried about contamination, and some say they have gotten rashes, sore throats, nausea, and headaches. As I just pointed out, Senator Brown, you were just there this week on Thursday. Should the residents of East Palestine accept the assurances from the government, or are they right to be skeptical? That is all the senator needed to unleash himself against corporate malfeasance. After a few words, he appropriately launched into corporations. So, this is, Pamela, this is really the same old story, Brown said with passion. Corporations do stock buybacks. They do big dividend checks. They lay off workers. Thousands of workers have been laid off from Norfolk Southern. Then they don't invest in safety rules and safety regulations, and this kind of thing happens. Yeah, this kinds of things happen. The senator got to the core then. He said, that is why people in East Palestine are upset, Brown continued. They know that corporate lobbyists have had far too much influence in our government. And they see this as the result. And this kind of thing shouldn't happen. There was also a Norfolk Southern derailment in Sandusky on Lake Erie in Ohio. There was one just a few days ago in Detroit. And of course, Rourke made us aware there was one right here last week in the Houston metropolitan area, Montgomery County. These things are happening because the railroads are simply not investing the way they showed in car safety and in the rail lines themselves. Again, maximum profit, maximum dividends, you name it. Sherrod Brown warned residents that Norfolk Southern will try to buy them off with those $1,000 checks. You know, anybody in East Palestine right now, East Palestine, Ohio, Norfolk has given out $2.5 million in $1,000 checks, man. It's raining money in East Palestine. But Sherrod Brown has a warning. He says, do not take that check if you have. Take the check, but do not sign your rights to sue Northern or Norfolk Southern, because you know what? Many times that's what they do. You want $1,000, and these people are strapped for cash now. You want $1,000? Here's $1,000. Okay, sign this waiver. You promise not to sue. I don't know if they're doing that, but one, you should not do it. The senator did not leave Congress blameless. He is well aware that many of them are on the corporate take. That's the end of the Ohio story, but there's more to talk about the Ohio story. Remember earlier I said all of us must be blamed for Ohio or wherever all these derailments are going to occur. Because too many of us have bought into that deregulation thing. Let me give you a little Texas story. Our leadership in Texas and Austin, Republican leadership, likes to talk about local control. They love to talk about local control because they don't want control from Washington. So they like to talk about local control. But anytime local control, you had a town, I can't remember, somewhere in the Dallas area. I don't remember the name of the town. There were gas wells all over the land in that area, and these gas wells were leaking. So this town passed an ordinance that prohibited drilling in certain places to protect humans, to protect the people from having to aspirate these hydrocarbons that could be cancerous. You know what? Yours truly, you know what your government who loves local control did? You know what they did? They passed a law that prevented local control. They passed a law that prevented local control. So it's all a joke. They don't care about you. They don't, I repeat, the people that you have elected, the people that Texas have elected into the legislature, they don't care about you. Now they're talking about vouchers, right? To rural America, to my brothers and sisters in Yoakum, Texas, Brenham, Texas, Smithville, Texas, and all these very small towns who don't have the superpower in there to have any kind of private schools or whatever. If your state representative signs off to have vouchers that will extract money out of the public school system, your kid that you would love to go to A&M or Texas Tech or the University of Texas, they will suffer. Because as one of the leadership said to a parent when he didn't know he was being taped, yes, this is going to take money out of the public, the funding out of the public educational system. They don't care about you. All of you that are voting for these people singing freedom, freedom, glory, glory, hallelujah. They wrap themselves in the flag and they do all these great things to let you believe they're so Americana, right? They don't care about you. They come to you to get some money. They come to you to tell you this is what we're going to do. And what do you get? Do you get health care? Hell no. Do you get a hospital? Hell no. Do you get good roads? Hell no. Go to small town Timbuktu, Texas. You know what they tell you though? They tell you, it's those damn brown people in Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin. They're taking everything. So hate them and vote for us. It's a lie. You know why? You know why those other places get things? Because that's where your peeps live. My brothers and sisters who are listening to me in rural America, share this program.
we spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it. Yes, share this program. Now, Brother Rodnan wants me to play something. I hope you're not going to get me in trouble for playing this because I couldn't listen to it beforehand. So let's go ahead and play what Mr. Rodnan wants us to play. Let me get it a little bigger before I play it. And let's go play it. Oops, I better restart it.
So I'm here at Leslie Run, and there's dead worms and dead fish all throughout this water. So, something I just discovered is that if you scrape the creek bed, it's like chemical is coming out of the ground. Can you come here? And let me just show this to people. I don't know if you're going to see this in the camera, but watch this. Just see that chemical pop out of the creek. This is disgusting. And the fact that we have not cleaned up the train crash, the fact that these chemicals are still seeping in the ground is an insult to the people who live in East Palestine. Do not forget these people. We've got to keep applying pressure. That's how we're going to fix this problem. Thank you.
That's not how we're going to fix this problem. We need to regulate them out, to prevent these problems from occurring in the first place.
Derailment.
I mean, why is it that these Republican politicians, and somebody like Vance, he's not a dumb guy, he's a smart, rich executives from California. Why do they think their people are so stupid? Why? And it could have been like that before Bruce, that's the first thing that I said. I think the likelihood is greater. That it was there before the crash. You know what I'd like to do? Ohio was a very polluted state. I don't know if you guys remember back before Superfund and all of that, where the Ohio River used to catch fire. It was so polluted with so much crap. The river once caught fire. I would love somebody to make a video. Hey guys in Ohio, I have a job for you and I'd like you to send it to me. Go find a creek somewhere near an industrial area in Ohio, whether it be Cleveland, whether it be Cleveland, Ohio. What's the other big city in Ohio again? Cincinnati, Ohio. Or go to one of these cities and do exactly what you saw Vance do there. Because what that is, right, is heavier material that sink down to the bottom of the water. And that's normal for heavy metals, etc. And some of it may also have some hydrocarbons that are pasted at it, that even though the hydrocarbon is heavier than water, it drops below. Go put a stick in there with a camera, do the same thing, and let's see what happens. Because that's sensationalism. That's not the answer. The answer comes from regulation. The answer comes from, well, you know what I think, nationalize the damn railroad, but that's not going to happen in my lifetime more than likely. Well, if I work hard enough, if we all work hard enough, maybe. But we got to get this right. Bruce says it could have been there before. Yes. Let's see what else we got here. We have E2247 says fast from words that pollute. Feast on speech that purifies. Fast from discomfort. Feast on gratitude. Fast from negatives. Feast on encouragement. Can I make a video about that? I tell you what, this is a TikTok that's going to go out today. I have the greatest listeners to TikTok and those also who have a poetic streak. From E2247, he says the following: fast from words that pollute, feast on speech that purifies. Fast from discomfort, feast on gratitude. Fast from negatives, feast on encouragement. Great words, E2247. Buttigieg MCP says, so much wildlife has died. Saw a different video once they burned. Like Bruce said, bad decision. Buttigieg MCP says, New York has one of the cleanest waters in the U.S. That water up from the Cascades? Yes, ma'am. And by the way, I went to a resort in rural upstate New York. It was beautiful. When we think of New York, we don't think about that. Tom C says, lots of problems with Michigan waterways. PFAS is especially bad on the Huron River. Cleanup in progress could take years, if not decades, brother. Bruce Pollard said it's called eutrophication, which takes place over time. The dead fish could have come from another thing. Get someone to do a fish autopsy. Catch you next time from AVQ. Oh, I forgot to do my ask again. Folks, please, por favor. I only have time to do one. So please go to politicsdoneright.com/support to support this program. Please find any method. It's going to be PayPal, YouTube, Patreon, Facebook. But allow us to continue doing what we're doing. Please, let's make a change. My name is Egberto Willies. You guys have a wonderful, beautiful weekend. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.